I had been gone about a year ago from work for a while, and I was out for about a week, and I get back, and I've got 2-3 emails from this parent, because I work at the local high school, who was just infuriated with me. And he sent an email and wanted a response. There was some kind of problem with his daughter. And then the very next day, there was another email, and he was even more irate. And you're supposed to have a response back within 24 hours, and professionals do that, and chastise me at great extent. And then there's a third one from the day before I got back to work. This is all in a 4-day span. Telling me how terrible I'm at my job, what a lousy teacher, no wonder his kid isn't doing well, no wonder she doesn't have respect for me, so on and so forth. I don't even have the respect to respond to an email within 4 days. And I was a little upset about it. This is, for those of you who know me, this is when Jackie was in the hospital with a huge tumor in the left side of her neck. It was pressing down on a nerve. And the doctor told us there was a good chance that she would be paralyzed in that whole side of her face and would probably never see again. That there was a definite, likely chance that could happen. And so my first reaction, and that's where I had been, and then afterwards they had all kinds of tubes and hoses in her that we were draining, and I was making sure she was okay, and she couldn't lift Isaiah, and so I was watching him and trying to be as helpful as I could as a husband. So my first reaction, I got about 2.5 sentences into this very scathing response to the man. How dare you, and where did you get up? And I got about 2.5 sentences in, and I went back and I deleted that. And I sighed and took a deep breath, and then I started using my big words. Right? Well, legal precedent says, I got all haughty and superior. I got about a paragraph into that one. I highlighted it, I deleted it, I just put my head down, and I was frustrated with this person that I'd never met before. And I just took some time and prayed and asked for guidance, and God said, understand him, know him, apologize to him. Of course, my first initial, for about 2-second reaction was, I don't want to. I don't feel like it. I want to give him what for? I'd like to flick his nose or something right now. He's not a nice man. But I decided instead to say, you know what? And so I emailed him back. I'm a parent too. I understand what you're saying. You're concerned about the welfare of your child. I want your daughter to do well too. And so I get why you responded to this. I get why you're mad. You want a response, you want a quick solution, you feel like you're being ignored, and I apologize for this situation that's gone on with you. And so I start to explain the situation, and I get into it, and I tell them about Jackie's tumor, the stress, because stress does form in your life, even when you have Christ in it. You get stressed, then you remember there's Christ, you go, okay, I'm all right, and then you get stressed again, because we're creatures of feeling, and we feel things. You know, God didn't remove feeling from us. We still feel them. But then we choose to trust in Christ, and we're okay again. I explained I hadn't been to work in a week because I was taking care of the baby and taking care of my wife and trying to answer questions from substitute teachers and so forth, that my attention was on her recovery and not on answering emails from parents. And I tried to offer some solutions to the problem as it was now a week later, and then I apologized again. And I tried to offer any kind of future help that I could. I got an email from him 2 hours later. It sounded like a different guy wrote the letter. It's like his brother came in the room, the nice one, and wrote it. And it was a turning point. I had heaped coals upon his head, and in less than 2 hours, I got to figure the second he sat down at the computer screen, he apologized back to me. He was genuinely humbled about it. He asked me, was there any way he could help me in my life? Right? And the best part was, from that point on out, he was the model parent. He was involved, he was pleasant. When his daughter said, well, he didn't tell, I don't believe you. I think the teacher did that. Let's just talk to him. Okay, fine, maybe he did. He was the best parent I ever had, right? But what would have happened if I'd gone with my first response and answered him in anger? He'd answered me in anger. I'd answered back in anger, and nothing, it was just built. And it just exploded. What if I'd said my nice haughty tone, right? And said, oh dear man, if you only understood, right? That's my best British butler imitation. Was that any good? Good, thank you. And then the courts say, and legal precedent says, his response would have been, fine, let's sort it out in the courts then, if legal precedent says such and such. Yikes. But instead, I chose to do what God said, told me, no, I didn't feel like it.